His voice so naked, his voice over so naked. I finally saw Night in New Orleans. A cheap studio in an old Victorian house that had been converted into apartments. It was on the top floor, right under the gabled roof. The landlord mentioned the attic space above me was off limits and empty, which was fine by me. I just wanted a place where my parents couldn't tell me what to do. Life was quiet for the first few weeks, but then the sounds started, small, rhythmic thuds coming from the ceiling, right above my bed. I tried to tell myself it was just the house settling or squirrels in the rafters. One night, after a few drinks with friends, I came home and crashed. I woke up around 3 a.m. to the sound of something heavy dragging across the attic floor. Still half asleep and slightly buzzed, I grabbed my phone and used the flashlight to look at the ceiling. There was a small square access hatch I hadn't noticed before, tucked into the corner of the room. The wooden panel was slightly askew. As I watched, a single pale finger hooked over the edge of the dark opening and slowly pulled the hatch shut. I froze, my heart hammering against my ribs. I didn't scream. I couldn't. I just stared at that hatch until the sun came up. The next morning, I convinced myself I'd imagined it. A mid-wake-up hallucination brought on by the alcohol and exhaustion. A week later, I was cleaning and had to move my bed to reach a drop pen. My heart stopped when I looked at the floorboards directly under where that attic hatch was. There, in the thick layer of dust I'd missed, were the clear imprints of bare footprints. They didn't lead to the door or the window. They simply started right under the hatch and ended at the head of my bed. I didn't call the landlord, I didn't call the police. I packed my car and left that same afternoon. Some learning lessons are too terrifying to stick around for.
After months of grinding at a part-time gig, skipping nights out, and watching every dollar like it owed me money, I finally pulled it off. My own place. It wasn't anything impressive, a small studio in an old, creaky building that looked like it had survived a few generations of regret. But it was cheap, quiet, and far enough from my parents that no one could tell me how late I stayed up, or what I did with my life. That freedom alone made the place feel perfect. The layout was a little weird, though. The front door opened straight into the living space, and at the very back was a long, narrow hallway that led to the bathroom. No windows, no overhead light. Even during the day, it stayed swallowed in shadow, like the darkness lived there permanently. I joked about it to friends, calling it my murder hallway, but deep down I avoided looking down it for too long. For the first couple of months, everything felt normal. The building made noises, pops, groans, distant knocks, but it was old, so I didn't think much of it. Then slowly, something changed. I'd be sitting on the couch late at night, scrolling through my phone, when I'd hear a single distinct creak come from the hallway, not random, not constant, just one sound, like someone shifting their weight on old wood. Every time it happened, my body reacted before my brain did. My shoulders would tense, my breath would catch, and then I'd laugh it off, telling myself I was bugging, that the building was settling, that I'd watched too many horror videos before bed. One night, after a late snack run, everything felt different. I was exhausted, half on autopilot, walking past the hallway toward the kitchen when something made me stop cold. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw movement in the full-length mirror. I'd leaned against the wall. I turned slowly, and there it was. In the dim reflection at the far end of the hallway, I thought I saw a face, just a shape pale blurry, like someone peeking around the bathroom door frame, barely revealing themselves, watching. My heart slammed so hard it actually hurt. I stood there frozen for a full second before yanking my phone out and turning on the flashlight. The beam cut through the darkness and hit the bathroom doorway. Nothing. No face, no movement, just an empty hall and a closed door. The silence felt louder than any noise. I stood there longer than I should have, waiting for something, anything to happen. When it didn't, embarrassment crept in. I told myself I was tired, that my brain had filled in shadows with fear. I locked myself in my bedroom that night. Even then, sleep didn't come easy. Every small sound made my eyes snap open. The hallway felt closer than ever, like it was pressing against the door, listening. Morning light made everything seem stupid, safe, normal. I laughed at myself again, convinced the whole thing had been some late-night paranoia. To shake it off, I decided to rearrange the apartment. Simple changes, fresh energy. I figured moving the mirror would help brighten the space and get rid of whatever bad vibe I'd imagined. When I lifted the mirror away from the wall, my stomach dropped. On the back of the glass, where no one should ever touch, were fresh, greasy handprints, full palms, fingers spread, positioned exactly where someone would need to grip the frame, to tilt it outward, to angle it, to look. My blood went cold as the realization sank in. Those prints weren't old, they weren't dusty, they were recent. Someone had stood in that pitch-black hallway, silently adjusting my mirror so they could watch me sit on the couch, relaxed, unaware, just feet away. I didn't check the rest of the apartment, I didn't call the landlord, I didn't wait for answers. I packed what I could carry, left everything else behind, and walked out without looking back. I moved somewhere brighter, somewhere open, somewhere with no dark hallways and no mirrors facing places I couldn't see. Some lessons don't teach you patience or independence. Some just teach you when to run.